Hey, what's up? This is Joe here with Clean World Solutions. We are in Lincroft, Middletown, New Jersey. It's Saturday, May 6th at around 4:10 p.m. The wave of Cinco de Mayo has passed and it's back to business. So we are standing at the top of a staircase which leads to a basement that was affected by a burst water filter fitting. Middle of this week we came and checked it out, established humidity control with the humidifiers, planned to come back the next day and perform the mitigation, which we did. An insurance claim has been filed, so we're making sure to document everything. The adjuster has not been out yet. So we, this is a previous client of ours for mold remediation, multiple times actually. So we kind of had to go above and beyond and do some things that maybe insurance isn't going to pay for, but that we feel are necessary to protect our client and their home from the affected areas. So we have a full containment, airtight containment with zipper at the top of the stairs here, and we have, you know, 2 air scrubbers. We did all the mitigation under negative pressure, everything you would kind of expect to see with a mold remediation, but we did it all under water mitigation. So, and like I said, there might be some things that we don't get paid for, but you know, at the end of the day, it's more about our clients, and it all works out in the end. Like I said, this is a multiple repeat client, so at the end of the day, if we don't get paid 3 rental days for an air scrubber, that's not really the end of the world. But we will know, and our clients will know, that every measure was taken to protect their home and them from what happened down here. So this was a sudden and accidental loss in the form of a pipe fitting burst on the water filter, but they just didn't know about it for like maybe a week. So there was an inch of water everywhere in this basement. There was an inch of water. One of the things that is important to know about water and water damage in a finished basement is that you can have 1 inch of water, but 1 inch of water is taller than the ½ inch at best gap at the bottom of the drywall. So water will wick vertically 12 to 24 inches per day, depending on the depth of the water up into the sheetrock and insulation. So that's why, even though it was only wet an inch or two, that we had a 2-foot flood cut come out, which is a standard cut. We actually cut to 24.5 inches because we don't want the drywall installer to come in, even though it's going to be our guy here. Sometimes it's not our guy, and we want to take the decision making out of their hands when it comes to providing a gap on the bottom of the new drywall. So by cutting at 24.5, we are ensuring that when they rip an 8-foot piece of drywall to replace this flood cut, that they're going to have a built-in gap along the bottom edge of that drywall, and it will not be touching the concrete, because if it is, concrete's always wetter than drywall should be. Concrete's always wetter than the moisture content at which drywall will grow mold and bacteria. So touching drywall to concrete anywhere ever is you're starting a clock, and that clock ticks for a certain amount of time, and it just takes the right conditions for that little wicking situation to turn into a bigger problem. So just take you in here real quick. There are bypass valves on this system, so immediately the filtration system was bypassed. The left tank fitting, where the water goes through the left tank, is what busted. So our licensed master plumber affiliate will be in here Monday or Tuesday. He'll change out that fitting. I did turn all the equipment off to come down here and make this video for you guys, because it was just unbearable. You wouldn't have been able, you'd be watching my lips move, and you wouldn't have heard a thing I said. But this is you know, kind of a standard setup for a water mitigation. Everything in here was cleaned. There was no carpet removal. The carpet was removed when they bought this house. They're sensitive, so carpet represents a risk in the basement, so it was removed. So there was no carpet. So we just removed all of the drywall and insulation. We cleaned everything. The lower walls, because it had sat for an unknown amount of time, but more than 3 days, but less than a week to 10 days, the lower walls were treated with Benefect. We did spot check with peroxide. We use hydrogen peroxide as an indicator. So when hydrogen peroxide is sprayed onto porous material with some type of organic material, organic life, mold or bacteria, you can't tell by the indication of peroxide which, just that there is something there. We didn't get a lot of indication. If we had, we would have gone ahead and applied some of our mold remediation techniques with wire brushing and things like that to get rid of that. Again, even if that's not something that the insurance company is going to pay for, we're fully equipped. Every vehicle that we have has everything on it that we would need to do to resolve those types of situations. And with the background that we have in higher level mold remediation, usually intended to turn a space that was previously making somebody sick into a space where they can recover, our conscience does not allow us to leave sketchy stuff behind. And that's, our industry leaves sketchy stuff behind every day. Now, there's great contractors, and there's not so great contractors, and we try to be as great as we can. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything set back up. One of the reasons I'm here today, well, the primary reason here today, is to check ambient temperature, humidity, dew point, and use temperature and humidity to figure out grains per pound, make sure our equipment is functioning properly, make sure we're actually removing water with the dehumidifiers, that there's not something environmentally that's inhibiting the function of those dehumidifiers to dry out the air, which is their function. And then I have my Testo 605i. We have a bunch of these data loggers. They're amazing. Instead of filling out daily moisture mapping and humidity reports, Testo has a custom proprietary reporting software. It has our logo on it. It has all the client's information. It has the location. So while I was here, I tested outside. I tested an unaffected area of the house. I tested the basement, and I tested the process air from the dehumidifiers to make sure that everything lines up, to make sure that our environmentals are working to dry this space in just a few days. And again, you can see, we've employed our critical barriers on existing material that we don't want to be affected by the operations that we have going on down here. Now, we're lucky that this is a return for the mechanical system. We're lucky that it's the time of year that we don't have super high temperature, super high humidity, so we have the system off, which kind of guarantees that that system is not pulling in anything that would have been down here. But the guys did a fantastic job. We were here all day yesterday. Like I said, good sized basement, and I'm very happy with the way this looks. We'll probably be done Monday afternoon, maybe Tuesday morning. Some of these bottom wall plates were underwater for a while, so out here away from that pipe burst in the back, the plates are reading around 60% right now, anywhere between 45 and 65%. Out here, we're down to about 22, and we're using a combination of meters. So we have our FLIR MR277, which is a combination. See if I can get that screen locked in for you. It's a combination surface moisture meter, non-penetrating, infrared thermometer, thermal imaging camera, obviously, measures air temperature, relative humidity, dew point, and actually lists that bottom number on the right. The bottom number is the grains per pound. So maybe this is a little long-winded, but everyone measures humidity in relative humidity. And they call it relative humidity because it's relative to the temperature. So as the temperature goes up and down, that relative humidity number will go up and down, but it doesn't mean there's more or less moisture in the air. An empirical measurement of moisture in the air is GPP, or grains per pound. How many grains of moisture are in 1 pound of air? And we're not going to unpack what all that means, but grains per pound is the actual measurement of how much moisture you have in the air. So that's the number that everybody should be looking at. but it involves calculations using temperature and humidity to get. Our meters do it automatically for us. It's just easier than having guys with psychrometric calculators and everything else on the jobs. There's apps for iPhones, there's apps for Androids. DryEase has one that's very good. It does vapor pressure, dew point, and a lot of other metrics as well. But yeah, so that's why I was here today, to make sure that we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing. Our equipment is functioning properly, no breakers have tripped, and that we can deliver another successful project here and another happy client. And then probably later this week, we'll have our crew back in here, drywall, insulation, molding, and paint, and they'll be on their way. So hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Have a great weekend.